Evening.
Evening, Squire.
Late one. Ha.
It's Friday, so no harm. It's been a weirdly stressful day, so...
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a little financially overstretched, so but a friend of mine really needed some help. They've been basically homeless for the last couple of weeks, so I forwarded them some money against future work, which I may or may not get in exchange, but yeah, it's nice to help people, but it can be difficult. And of course, my controversial opinion on the Rittenhouse thing doesn't help. I've done quite well ignoring it now, but some things are too egregious to ignore. And I hardly got any work done today because I kept being interrupted to do odd jobs and bits and pieces.
The Rittenhouse stuff is pure confirmation bias for a lot of people.
I think it's mostly just a difference in culture, notwithstanding the non-Americans. But there's a very different set of ideas about what is and isn't self-defense, what is and isn't acceptable. And of course it's been politicized because, we can't have nice things. We've just had our internet semi-upgraded, so that's kind of been a bit disruptive as well. Yeah, it's too much today.
Most of the angst doesn't strike me as the kind that is susceptible to facts.
No, people will claim they're talking about facts, but then they're being very selective in their interpretation. And of course they'll probably call me a hypocrite for thinking that, but yeah.
Good vid today, by the way.
Thank you. It just really struck me rewatching Babylon 5 and trying to watch Flux. The differences were worth talking about, whether it's just nostalgia or what. But I really don't think it is. And it's not like there aren't decent things being produced now.
I'm enjoying Foundation. It's not even close to the book, though.
It's on Apple TV, isn't it? So I'm not going to be able to see it till it comes out on something else. But like I was saying, yeah, it's not like there aren't good things, though mostly the more modern series don't tend to stick the landing, even if they're good on the way through. It's just seems to be much rarer. I mean, Game of Thrones was good up until the end. The Battlestar Galactica reboot, though, I guess that's not as fresh as some things. Yeah, that was good, except the end. And I'm struggling to think, but there probably are some things.
BG vanished up its own fundament. The Expanse is pretty great.
Yeah, The
That's coming
Expanse.
to an end soon, though.
Yeah, this most recent series, most recent season, sorry, I didn't like as much at all. Just didn't seem to work. The alien planets weren't interesting. The shit that happened back on Earth was supposed to be, no pun intended, earth-shattering, but didn't particularly feel like it had a huge impact. You didn't get the sense of disaster. Yeah, the last season just fell a bit flat. I guess Walking Dead was good. The spin-off series, not so much. And it's kind of losing its way as well, or has lost its way, but that's coming to an end, I think. Comics are still good.
The Expanse's last series was strangely unmemorable. The previous series may have been stupid, but at least I remember what happened.
Yeah. Trying to think what other newer stuff there's been. Killjoys was alright. That was fairly low budget though, so they had to compensate with things. And again, they didn't really stick the landing. Last season wasn't so good.
Walking Dead started to suck when surrounded by hordes of undead everyone stopped to have earnest conversations.
Well, You say that, but zombie horror has always been much more about the humans and their drama and their stupidity than it has actually been about the zombies. So that's perfectly in keeping with at least Romero style zombies.
Korean zombie series Kingdom was alright.
Yeah, I like that. I guess it wasn't really including foreign series, which is maybe unfair of me, but yeah. Guess the 12 Monkeys series was alright, but that didn't last long enough to really resolve itself. Sarah Connor Chronicles was pretty good, but again, kind of lost its way and ended up cancelled too soon. You're noticing a running theme, I guess. Never liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Loki was okay. The Scarlet Witch one didn't really stick the landing.
Farscape, another show that deserved another season or two.
That's one I think was fairly consistently good. And not harmed by having a low budget, relatively speaking. But I think it ran enough. I think if it had kept going, it would have lost some of that magic. British series tend to be too short. American series tend to be too long. I'm not sure which is better or worse.
Penny Dreadful was one of my favorite shows ever for the first season, then even more so in the second, then died in the third.
Yeah. There were moments in the third season, but it just wasn't as consistent. I've tried watching American Horror Story, but I just don't like it. Even Angela Bassett can't save it for me. It's just too, I don't know, hokey, over the top.
No time for a series to breath. And this trend is now infecting episode structure.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is now just a bunch of superficial shiny things.
Yeah, if they're even connected at all. I have no fucking idea what's going on in Flux. None at all. But you look at the old, like, Tom Baker serials. They're like 6 episodes, maybe, with one plot. Plenty of time to breathe, to fill you with dread or anticipation, to mull over the moral and ethical dilemmas. Yeah, if I destroy the Daleks, do I become them? Yeah, good meaty stuff.
It doesn't matter. Get from set piece A to set piece B. This was Moffat's curse.
Yeah.
Anyone remember the third?
I didn't watch that one. I think because it looked a little bit too cheap to pull off what it was trying for. But I'll take your word for it. Maybe I'll give it another go. Everyone's really excited about Russell T Davies coming back to Doctor Who, but I think the damage might be too deep. And I think people forget that RTD's work later on in the series, he just got too melodramatic, grandiose, up himself. That whole Messiah complex thing with the Doctor became unbearable. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there, though he's wresting it away a bit from the sort of BBC oversight committees and so on. So, cautiously, mildly optimistic, but not really, I guess.
I will never forgive RTD for turning the Daleks into amusing puppets in their last Tennant story.
They have been kind of neutered with overuse. Same with the Cybermen, I guess, really. It's interesting that they've used the Sontarans so often. So they didn't turn up that often in Old Who. But then I think they've kind of reduced them to a joke or a one-note thing as well. But now we have whole armies of them. Whereas in the most sort of notable Old Who one with the Sontarans, yeah, it was just one of them who was terrorizing an entire period of history. And I don't know what they've done with the makeup for the Sontarans this season, but it looks bloody terrible. Looks like they've had the intern doing it. Yeah, even the old 70s and 80s serial version looks better, and that shouldn't be the case. On paper, Chibnall should have been a good choice, because he is a genuine, huge fan of Doctor Who since he was very young. Yeah, there's footage of him as a sort of fan convention type guy. So it's a bit surprising that he made it go so wrong. Well, not that surprising. I've had to work with fans before when heading up RPG projects, and yeah, you think it's a good idea to involve the fans because
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he also wrote the deeply stupid Luther.
Well, yeah. But you think it's a good idea to work with fans because you get the free publicity, and you know they're super keen into what you're doing. But fans often have their own ideas, and they can be just as crazy as anything anyone comes up with. So you can be, cutting a rod for your own back, really. That was the trouble with SLA Industries when I was working on it. They wanted to involve the fans because with such a terrible release schedule, yeah, the fans are what kept it alive. Um, yeah, and fair dues to them, but they had very definite ideas of what they thought the game was and should be and could be, that ran fairly counter in a lot of ways to what the creators thought. So that was, yeah, it was not a good experience. And we shouldn't have given the fanboy editing capability on the project, because he kind of fucked it up.
Inside Number 9 had some amusing takes on the artist-fan relationship in the last series.
Was that the one where everything was set in the same flat? I didn't watch that one, so I only know it by reputation.
Yeah. That's the one.
Tell you what, I do wish they'd bring back ARG, the adventure game. Or an updated version of Nightmare, that would be good.
Some of the BBC's M.R. James Christmas ghost stories of recent years have been as good as some of the 1970s originals. Caution team.
So, Nightmare was just so delightfully British in so many ways, and the high tech stuff of the time, and it kind of helped make role playing a little bit more acceptable in that period.
Spellcasting. WRN hyphen.
Yeah, I think everyone's made that joke at some point. Didn't they try to reboot Rent-A-Ghost a while back? It's just not the same without Timothy Claypole.
Or Mr. Mika.
I am Mr. Majika. Whizbit. This is going to turn into a kids' shows of yesteryear. Nostalgia. Love-in, isn't it?
No. The unremitting horror of Mr. Nosibon.
Mr. Nosybonk from Jigsaw. And Sylvester McCoy and... oh, what's his name? They were the O-Men. David Rappaport, who was in Time Bandits as well. I saw him in a stage production of The Hobbit. He was very good. But yeah, they were the O-Men, which were like these weird superhero characters. Sylvester McCoy and David Rappaport. I remember that so vividly because they did this joke bit where they were talking out to the TV audience, and they were telling you off for picking your nose, and I was at the time, so as a kid that kind of freaked me out. And I was excavating a nostril only to get called out for it by the TV. But yeah, Mr. Nosybonk was terrifying, combining mime with weird masks. I wonder if he inspired Citizen Snork in 2000 AD. that.
Chest content management. The mini-game of choice for the slightly autistic Minecraft player.
Yeah, or anyone who plays old school computer RPGs. It's after midnight. I'm going to think about taking my meds and going to bed. So I will see you later. Take care.